Hello all, Accionoctem here with another brief look at Skyrim. Today we're taking a look at the Silverdrift Lair. This is kind of in the middle of nowhere. It's just southeast of Dawnstar. As you can see, I'm trying to pin out on the map to give you a better idea of exactly where it's at. Once you get there, there are going to be a couple of bandits on the outside. It's nothing too difficult to take care of. As you can see, it doesn't take hardly any time at all to dispatch of them. There is another one running around, but I don't discover him until I come back out. So, I'm just going to head on in. Alright, this isn't too big of a dungeon. It's, I guess you could say, about medium-sized. There's really nothing in this first room. As you can see, I'm just going to skip the looting. You just want to head straight down the first hallway. You are going to run into some enemies right through here. As you can see, it's the corpse guys whose name I can't pronounce. And this room does lead to two doors. The door on the right is barred from the other side, so you are going to want to head to the left. There's really not any worthwhile loot at this point in the dungeon, so any looting I am going to try to go ahead and skip over and just get straight to the interesting stuff. As you can see, once you come into this room, you're immediately engaged again. Nothing too difficult. As you can tell, I am back on my spell sword character. I do encourage you to look around this particular room. There are potions scattered about. I believe there was a spell book. Just some random coins and whatnot to grab. Now, this is an interesting looking room. There's really not a whole lot in it though. So, if you're kind of like me and you like to explore every inch of the dungeon, then by all means go ahead. But you're really not going to miss anything by skipping and going straight towards the doors. There is a bit of a trap in this room. As you can see, the floor is actually covered in Skyrim's equivalent to gasoline, I suppose. And that urn above your head, if you knock it down, it will ignite. You just want to go ahead and turn that handle there to lower the door, and through you go. I was just seeing if I could cut the cobwebs down at that point. It doesn't work. And you're going to see this a lot in this dungeon. These upright coffin type constructs that have these undead inside of them. You can see that one ran off. You will find out here in a minute he went off to get some reinforcements. As far as loot goes, this dungeon really does not have a whole lot scattered throughout it. There are a couple chests, but any worthwhile loot, there's really not a whole lot of it here. You can see you will be ambushed in this room. It's nothing big. It's easy to take care of. None of these NPCs dropped anything interesting. If you go to the right of this room, you will find this chest here. It is an expert lock. I just skipped my many attempts it took to get into it. Picked up a nice bow, a nice chunk of change, and a gem. Steel armor there, but what I'm wearing is better. I am wearing dwarven armor. And there's nothing else in this room. So, I went ahead and I looked around, but really not worth your time. And through here you're going to see these columns in the middle of each of these chambers with a handle that you can pull. This middle chamber is the only one that houses an enemy NPC. So there's nothing to fear when you go ahead and open up the other two. I'm not entirely sure where this guy thought he was running to at that point, but he's gone now. And there's nothing at all in this room, so honestly you can skip opening the middle chamber if you'd like to. I certainly didn't find anything interesting. And then I head on over to the right side. Where, as you can see, there's a closed door. Handles on the other side of that column. And there's a chest in this room. If I recall correctly, there's really nothing interesting in it. And there's nothing else in this room at all. You do want to go ahead and grab the coin purses. It's not a lot of gold, but might as well take it while it's there. You can see that was really a pretty pathetic chest. So just going to head on back out and head to the left this time. Now, every time I stepped into one of these chambers, I kept expecting to trigger a trap. It just seemed like the perfect opportunity to take advantage of the holes in the wall, but there's nothing there, so you really don't need to be worried about it. And there's nothing in this room at all. It just leads on to the next area for you to go to. Of course, you need to unbar the door first, and then go on through. And you will notice that you are back in that strange looking room that we kind of first started in. So you head on back up. There is not a handle on that column. I checked it out. You want to go on through. You do want to be careful here. There are traps on the floor. There are 2 spiked swinging doors that both of those traps trigger. The NPCs will walk on them. If you time it right, you can hit both of them with the door. I only managed to get the first one. I did miss on the second one. Alright, there we go. So you do want to be careful when you walk through here. Just jump over the traps or walk around them, whatever you need to do. There is a bit of a trap over here, and in my particular instance of this dungeon, it is housing a dwarven helm. That was not better than what I was wearing, but it was worth a nice chunk of change. The best way to get this is to jump up on the ledge here, and edge over towards as far over as you can get, grab it, and jump back. As you can see, there are spikes that come up through the floor. Nothing too hard to get past. And come out, nothing in here, just head straight on through the door. Once again, you're going to be met with an enemy here. Pretty easy to dispatch of. There is a chest in this room, as you've probably noticed, and a healing potion. As you can see, there's really nothing fancy inside the chest. Just some basic loot that you would expect to find. And you just want to pull the chain to open that door. Do not go through too quickly. As you can see, it was trapped, and you did trigger a swinging log of some sort. Overall, this was not a very exciting dungeon, honestly. As you can see, there really wasn't any part of it that posed a threat. There we go. And nothing really interesting in this room either. You just want to head straight through and up the stairs. And as you can see, there is another chest in this room once you dispatch the enemy guarding it. And that's really about the only thing in this room as well. I bet you're sensing a pattern here. Once again, nothing overly interesting in the chest. There was a nice gem. There is the book Thief here, which, if for whatever reason you haven't found that book before, if you open it, you will gain an increase to your lockpicking. As you notice, I did harvest that Wood Elf's blood. That is for a quest that's unrelated to this dungeon. And you're gonna head on across this. This bridge kind of reminded me of a gauntlet type scenario. Even though there's only a single NPC on it, it's very easy. It's just the way that the bridge kind of looked. I'm not sure what the point of the cage around it is, but it's kind of cool looking. Alright, and on we go. And just straight through to the next door. And here we have the boss of this particular dungeon. You do want to be careful in this room as there are fire traps. The NPC runs over them multiple times. This guy is a little bit of a pain to beat. He is a melee character. I do go through quite a few health potions, which I am gonna skip over. As for whatever reason I was having issues with my inventory and hotkeys, they just weren't sticking. So every time I use a health potion I actually have to go through the menu to get into my items and locate the potions, and it just makes for a really boring video to sit there and watch that. So I went ahead and I edited it out. It makes the fight look a little choppy, I do apologize for that, but it is a pretty straightforward fight. Just do what you can. I would recommend using your dragon shout on every cooldown. You can see we take him down. He really doesn't have anything on him, which I was a little bit surprised at. He was a difficult enemy. But, there we go, I just switched swords. He does have a shout that disarms you. You do want to watch out for that. In this game, I did not realize it until this dungeon. When you are disarmed, you actually drop your sword. It's not just a temporary effect like it is in, say, World of Warcraft, where you're disarmed and after so many seconds pass, you magically get your sword back. Skyrim does not work that way. You actually drop the sword on the ground. I would recommend looking around and trying to find it. You can see there is a dragon word here. It is the word for disarm. There we go. There's nothing else in this room. I did take the time to look at all of it. There are just a whole lot of ruined books, so I would just recommend going on through this next door. And you're going to find another chest. This one, I believe, actually has some somewhat interesting loot in it. There we go. It has a nice chunk of change. An interesting helmet. Very interesting look to it. A nice necklace. And some kind of crappy arrows. Now to open this door, there is a chain behind the chest to the left-hand side. You do want to go ahead and pull it. I did not see it the first time, which is why I had to go back for it. There it is. And that's pretty much it. You're really done with the dungeon at this point. It's going to drop you back out at that very first barred door you came to upon entering the dungeon. There we go. And you just want to head straight. So I would just like to remind you that if you found this video helpful or you just enjoyed watching it, to please remember to like and subscribe to my channel. There will be many more to come, all featuring League of Legends, Skyrim, and eventually Guild Wars 2. Thank you for watching.